it's also up our alley, talking about how we look at the internet and use computers a lot. There's a computer use encouraged today.
Oh, good segue. Good
Yeah.
segue. You did it.
That's my one for the year.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Pointless Discourse with myself, Hoppocalypse, and Itisdpayne.
Hello, it is me, Itisdpayne, and today we're gonna rank the hottest versions of rock rolls.
Oh, look at the time. I've got to
I know,
leave.
we have perfect amount of time.
I told Itisdpayne I was low energy, and he's like, I heard Hop is a hater, so we're gonna open right over that one.
No, it's... I'm trying to think, because you said that, and I was like, who would I think is the most attractive Hollywood person? And I'm like, my brain doesn't think that way. I'm like, I was just sitting there, I'm like, I don't know.
I guess you could put it like, what's the last movie that you saw and you thought, that guy's handsome?
The Thing. The actual alien? What? No.
Which one? There's a lot of iterations.
No, just his base alien form. I don't know. It's like my brain doesn't think that way, but it's just like when I hear people like say like he's handsome or she's, well, normally when guys are complimenting women, they have the most verbose vocabulary. She hot, which that thing that like also, that line also confuses me. Where I'm just like temperature wise, like what do you? How did that become the vernacular that we use? But anyway,
When are you gonna get tested?
do you have? She has COVID.
No. I mean, you've joked about like maybe I am easily distractible. So that was my joke of like.
Oh yeah, my brain just didn't even connect that. I was still thinking of the original thing. Yeah, nah. It's at this point I'm like, I think I'm just okay with the internet diagnosis, and like I made it this far. Without
if you
knowing.
have the mechanisms you need.
Yeah, I don't know if I do, but I'm working. So
I also pulled out my dice and I'm looking at them. I feel like we had a goofy joke. Is it 26?
yes, it's a D20 and a D6.
Okay.
However, there is one thing I do have to mention because I forgot to mention it before we recorded it. Is that our consistent frequent listener just heard the episode when we called them the constant frequent listener and texted me, is that me? And I'm like, or is like, am I one of them? I was like, you are the one that we know.
That we are aware of.
So,
Hello.
yes, but she said, hey, listen to these episodes. It's like, yeah, cool. I'd like to support you and everything. But Hop is really cool, and I want to be her friend. And I'm like, who doesn't?
Wow. That's fun to hear.
So
next convention.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, unless like we want to like go against our introverted behaviors and be like, I don't know, do you want to like actually hang out outside of a webcam and mic? I should be careful saying this because then the frequent listener will be like, well, when's this happening? Like,
yeah, you won't remember by the time this is released.
I didn't remember that. And so
yeah, this is gonna release in like a month, so it'll come up like, oh, since you already started talking to Hop about it, you'll be like, about what?
yeah. And so
I'll wait until whatever we record in August where you go, well, do you remember this?
When does this episode come out?
I have that highlighted.
I have to. I gotta find all my tabs again. Oh, that is literally like a month.
Yeah, look, I only have 2 monitors. I'm not command center like you.
Yeah, but I have everything mashed on my middle monitor.
Is it all centralized so it's like all eye level and then you just have like empty screen around it? Is that
pretty
what you
much?
mean?
Yeah, well, it's like because here on the left side is the Zoom call, because I started like putting the Zoom call where I can see the thing, because normally it'd just be off on like some other monitor, and I wouldn't even like, my brain would be like both with this show and the other podcast that I record, like I wouldn't like, my brain just wouldn't realize that, just like, oh, Hop wore a hat that day, or like a band shirt or whatever. It was like I wouldn't even recognize it. And so when I put it here, I'm like, okay, it's I'm like, there, Hop is now not just a voice in my head.
Hey, that's what we were used to, because
that's what
it was doing, yeah. Back in the Mixer days when we would co-stream, it was too much on the poor PCs to have our co-stream up while streaming, while gaming, while reading chat, while
yeah, while complaining like a gremlin, you know, the stupid thing. I will say, I've been seeing this new build for TFT, and I'm like, do I want to start my addiction again? Probably not, but that's a thing.
It's however much free time you don't have, but you want to squeeze in gaming anyway.
There is no free time until Charity Palooza's done. Which everyone's like, when is this thing going to be done already? We've been hearing about it for like 2 months. And I'm like, don't worry. This will be the last week you hear me talk about it.
But don't worry, the listeners of the podcast, it's already been done.
It's been done for multiple weeks.
Yeah, you'll have results in a couple weeks of how well it did, and
if I got to play Elden Ring.
I started playing Elden Ring. It's my first Souls-like.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's news.
How you liking it? Or not liking it?
I do like it. I'm learning. Okay. I took whatever class it is where I can heal myself, so that helps alleviate some of the pressure.
Okay.
It's like a faith build.
Yeah, because I'm starting to do a little bit of research, and I love Souls games. So it's just
I've played maybe an hour of Dark Souls, and I remember being warned, hey, by the way, Dark Souls, it's fully like whatever you want to do, but one area is much harder than the other, so just don't turn that direction. And then I ended up at the fork of the road in the very beginning of the game, and I was like, I don't remember which one they said not to go down, and I think I went down it, because where you're standing there going, left or right, and like you're panicking. And then I ended up in an infinite loop of trying to collect my souls, because I was by myself and I didn't register that it's okay if I lose like 20 souls. Like, it's not that big a deal.
Yeah. Yeah, because like if it's your first game, because those games are like notorious for just being, these are going to destroy you and your will to live. Not, and it's just like, okay, and then you go and you're just like, oh, I just lost 20 souls. Okay, that's not that big of a deal.
Yeah. When I first, being by myself.
But when you first start, you're like,
you don't realize. So now playing Elden Ring, Strider will sit next to me and kind of like, it's like my own like, I'm gonna age myself. It's like my own little Game Informer next to me, where I'm like, should I worry about moving forward yet? Do you have an edition of Game Informer?
It's your own player's guide.
I actually never owned any. What was the website that used to do everything in
GameFAQs?
Was it GameFAQs that I used to use? I just remember for JRPGs, I would always look up this one particular website, and everything was formatted in gray, and like they're like drawing maps using like brackets to say like, by the so I would print those out physically while I'm playing on my PS2 to check off my like achievement hunting goals. But in any case, yeah, so he's like sitting next to me, and I was like going down a path, and he's like, by the way, this is story. If you go to your map, there are NPCs hidden amongst this whole area, and if you miss them, they could have dire consequences. And I'm like, and I turn around like I go back. And the one joke that he has, I don't believe this is, okay, I'll wait until you start. But basically, to not spoil anything, Strider was teasing me because I was, when something attacks you in a game like that, you swing back without thinking. And he's like, wow, you're killing demi-humans. What? Just because they're demi means you think it's okay? And I was like, what are these jokes you're making? I'm just fighting whatever's fighting me. And then I met an NPC, and I glared at him, and he started laughing at me. And I was like, if they could talk the whole time, why haven't they? And then there was one point where there was an NPC sitting there, but I was like, oh, that's just a guy. And I ran up to pick up something in front of him, and then he immediately stood up and started swinging at me, and I, like, jumped scared, and he was just laughing next to me. So I think since he's, like, sitting with me, it's much more enjoyable than the time I tried it by myself, where I was, like, second guessing. And I also am the type of gamer where if I find out that I've locked myself from something that I probably wish I had known about, I will quit a game. It's not a healthy habit, but it's something I do.
Oh, there was a game I was playing where it was the new Hellblade, because I was like it tricked me, because what looked like progression, I didn't want to go down, because I'm like, I bet one of these things I have to go find is down this path, and then it's like it did the cutscene, and then you couldn't go back, even though the place was still open. I'm like, oh my goodness, that game for me also had a bunch of other issues that I was like,
that was just a good final straw for you.
well, it was the start of the final straws. The game should have ended a while, like, then I'm like, okay, the game's done, right? And it's like, now you have to do this one final task to prove that you're cool to these other people you never met. I'm like, why?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. And then, well, I was also playing on Game Pass, and then, like, the whole thing just started crapping out. But
yeah. I know. I think the only other major game release I'm excited about is the new IP by I think it's Atlas, the people that do the Persona games. They have the new IP coming out, and you remember from when I used to stream on Twitch my obsession with Fire Emblem Three Houses. So I was like, is this Persona but Fire Emblem fantasy style? So
yeah, that is. I would love to play Fire Emblem, but my brain, the way my brain is wired, I cannot. And it's just like, I know you said it. I know Tristan has also told me.
Nobody died in me playing normal.
No, like the old ones. Like,
no, yeah, like nobody
nobody
died in my playthroughs, so it's possible. It's fine.
Yeah, I know it's possible, but it's just like, I enjoy it, but I also understand I'm not good, so people are gonna die, and so, but it's just like,
I feel like Three Houses is a lot more forgiving. Not just like
possibly is, yeah.
Yeah, not just in terms of like the settings you have, but like I didn't struggle with I think I struggled on some boss fights, but you can also overlevel pretty easily. Like
yeah.
Like JRPG things,
Yeah, with the only other one I played, which was the first one that came to the US on Game Boy.
GameCube. Oh, Game Boy.
Yeah, which I think is like technically the third Fire Emblem game, but it was just it's like however you leveled up while playing, that's all you got. And so, but it was just always when someone died, I'm like, all right, reset the level, and I'm like, it. And then when people were telling me like, well, the new ones you could just turn it off and they just disappear, and then they come back to the end, it's like, no, that's cheating. I know that's like a function, but
I've quit some of the missions before in the Three Houses, but if it's like a boss fight, I would just get the main character killed, because they'd be like, game over, and then you end up essentially restarting anyway.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I know there was another game coming out. I'm gonna open up my Steam. That I saw on there, put it on the wish list, and now I don't remember the name of it. And as soon as Steam wants to load, man, I forgot how long Steam takes to load when I want it to.
Yeah, Steam's like suddenly I have updates. I'm busy.
I feel like it has updates all the time, but anyway.
Literally every day.
Let's see. Sort by date added. Okay, yeah, there's a game. It's been out called Crow Country, and it looks like Here, I'll just send you the. I'm on.
Send me anything so I stop looking at this popcorn bucket.
Yeah, the popcorn bucket's awesome, but it's like it kind of looks like Final Fantasy VII graphics that aren't cutscenes, but kind of has the old Resident Evil style of playing.
Yeah, I see the "You Are Dead" screen. That feels very yeah. Is it tank camera?
I think it's tank controls. Yeah.
That's the only thing that would keep me personally from doing it.
Yeah. So I don't know. I know that one looks pretty interesting.
There's also a demo for you to try.
Yeah, I don't like demos.
Okay.
I don't know why, but it's just like I got a lot of weird things in my head that's just like I don't like this, so I don't do it. I'm just like, well, I'm gonna play it, I'm gonna buy it. There's another one called Abyss Zero, or Abyss Cross Zero. That hello Outlast Trials pop up. That it has like the art style of Mega Man Legends.
That is up your alley.
Mm-hmm. It's also up our alley, talking about how we look at the internet and use computers a lot. There's a computer use encouraged today.
Oh, good segue. Good segue. You did it.
That's my one for the year. But anyway, this whole episode is like, why are these guys talking about everything under the sun? It's because Hop is tired. I'm me.
Yes, I cannot pull the reins in. But in any case, as Itisdpayne hinted, this is episode 2 of us watching through season 1 of Courage the Cowardly Dog. I actually did watch these episodes. I just watched them a week early because I like to be very prepared. Don't you guys know?
About like an hour ago.
You like to have it fresh on your mind, and I get to be prepared.
It's just how time worked.
I do like
week.
how you did message me a couple days, like 48 hours ago, and I was like, yeah, we're meeting. You're like, good, so that I know to watch it ahead of time.
Yeah, and then time was not on my side. So I'm like, okay, let's do it.
All right. In any case, so yeah, if this is your first time stumbling upon our podcast, we have all sorts of series. We watch through a lot of things, a lot of media. We just finished talking about some books. Now we're doing an early prep for the Halloween season by watching through Courage the Cowardly Dog, because it's nice to watch short form content. Because the beginning of this year was watching 24 movies.
It was awesome.
There were
for 2/3 of it.
Yeah, there were a lot of hits. There's some okays. Yeah. There are a couple misses.
And then there's some questions. Like, what would a ghost do?
Yeah, go. Everyone go watch A Ghost Story and tell me if it is, what did I say? It was like rewriting history, or it was history through the lens of white people. Because they were villainizing the natives in the one flashback.
Yeah.
It's when they wanted to build their house, and they're like, they're gonna hurt us, and I was like, well, yeah, you're strangers. Mm-hmm. Sorry. Anyway, I'm tired. In any case, kind of tangentially related to the Courage episode, believe it or not. Treating people as maybe not people.
The American way.
The American way. In any case.
Sorry, I know you never, well, I shouldn't say never, but you didn't watch a lot of Muppets growing up.
No, I did not.
But there, in the Muppets Christmas Carol, there's a Muppet called, I think it's like American Sam, and he's a blue eagle, and he's just like, oh, talks like that. Well, he plays in the puppet, fills a role as Scrooge's schoolmaster in the Muppets Christmas Carol. Mm-hmm. And he's just like, yes, it is the American way. And then like one of the other puppets goes up and whispers in his ear, and he's just like breaking the fourth wall, and he's just like, oh, it is the British way.
That is funny. But yeah, so we watched episodes 2A and 2B of Courage the Cowardly Dog. We'll roll some dice. Whoever rolls the highest out of a D20 and a D6 combined gets to decide which episode they want to talk about. We're rolling dice because we're big role-playing nerds. Itisdpayne runs RPG podcast. And
don't look behind me. Don't look behind me.
Spoilers. And recently well, I guess not so recently. Once
recent
this
for
airs,
us at the recording, but
running Charity Palooza and
Yeah.
etc., which is all centered around a long running RPG. So if you're into different tabletop RPGs, definitely check his stuff out. I guess we talked about books recently, so I guess I talk about
that's
books
what
on
the frequent listener, she is always asking, not always asking, but she is asked is this a book episode? And say, no, we're done with books now for a little while. Like, knowing us, we will come back to books.
We find our way back.
It always comes back.
Yeah,
Even
I guess
if it's not part of the actual episode.
So spoilers ahead if you somehow have come here and not have watched Courage the Cowardly Dog before.
Yeah, we're gonna spoil the heck out of it.
Ready to roll dice?
I'm rolling. Oh gosh, why is this hard math? Okay. Mine is very middle of the road.
Same. I rolled a 15 and a 1, so 16 total.
I rolled a 13 total.
I thought you were going to say a 13 and a 3 so that we had to have a roll-off somehow.
Oh, man. Not again.
Let's see. Out of these 2 episodes, I want to talk about 2B. I'm sure you don't find that surprising.
All right. So, I also thought if we have like a tie, we should just take another D6 and just roll that and add it to it. So we just have like multiple D6s.
No. What we should do is just, for audio listeners.
Another die?
Yeah, I'm showing off my set. So yeah, we took the D20 and the D6. So every time we tie, we'll just take another random dice and
the next 2 and add them together. Oh man, I would scream like Courage the way I have to do
that much math.
But yeah, so this first episode is The Shadow of Courage. Pretty epic sounding line. It sounds like a cool title that you would get in an Elden Ring game. I don't know, I never played Elden Ring, but it sounds like a Souls boss. But anyway, yeah, this one we open up to an old man that wants to buy the moon and add it to his collection.
And people.
And people, yes. That was one of the 5 notes I made. Even people are for sale is a line. It is not the line of the episode of this episode.
Of the concerning bit, yeah. Was that the one that you thought I found concerning?
Well, at first I was like, because that episode's first, and I'm like, is that it? I'm like,
seems really early.
I was like, okay, that's possible. We'll see. And well, I'll let you. I won't take your thunder.
Okay.
But anyway, we do that. But while he pretty much has a heart attack and dies, and then his shadow becomes free, and it starts terrorizing people in the town, and then there's a thunderstorm, so he escapes the town or the city and ends up at Eustace and Muriel's house, and does some shenanigans there. But I figure with that we can go into there. I believe this is the first actual appearance of their house.
Yeah, their full house, because in episode 1, like you said, it looked like their house was near the motel, but
it looked like their house was the office.
Yeah. But yeah, because you have the motel, and then you have wherever the Cajun fox hangs out in episode 1. Yeah, this one has their full house. The house is in the intro.
It's in the intro. It's
you don't get the full layout.
In the episode 1, they're just not in the house
at all. Yeah.
At all. They're at a motel office and then run around a park.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so this first episode I thought was very silly because I think I think this one plays around more with horror in a way that I like. The Cat's Hotel was just creepy spider and kind of creepy main character villain-esque thing, but this one with the shadow just gaslighting everybody.
Yeah.
Like, I know that if I was walking around my house and my shadow was constantly changing to show me the worst case scenario, my anxiety would peak. I already have anxiety, but you know, I am Courage.
I already have shadows messing with my mind where I think things are moving. And so I'm like, wait, was that real? I don't know. What is that?
And to have one actively trying to prank her, you'd
And
be
I was just like, come on, guy. Just want some popcorn.
What do you think your shadow would show you?
Taxes.
The IRS. We're here to audit you.
Let's see. What would it? I don't know, because the thing that like gets me now is like I think I see like the shadow of a mouse running.
I was gonna guess mouse because they follow you apartment to apartment.
Yeah, I haven't seen him recently, but
Don't jinx
hold
yourself.
on, yep, knock on wood. I think that's what you do.
And then it pops out of your desk.
Yeah, just like, oh my gosh, you called. But yeah, it'd probably be that case. I think it would also depend on when, because there's also been times like the joys of being extremely nearsighted, where I'll be like laying in bed and then I'll look over after. I don't know. I think I mentioned this on the podcast, but I found out how if I sleep in a certain position, I can activate dreams in my head. The downside is they're always nightmares. So there's been multiple times where I will wake up from a nightmare and turn around and look and just like, oh, well, it's here now. And then I was like, oh, nope, that's just a sweater. So I don't know. Might be the case of that. But I also heard apparently if you're able to do that, that's like a sign that you're able to lucid dream. Which I don't know if I would actually want the ability to lucid dream.
That's fair.
Sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, if I had to think about it, being a homeowner with pets, pretty much anything
Chocolate bar.
anything, you know, like tiny fire would pique my anxiety. Be like, whoa. Or like something that looks like there's like a drip somewhere, because you know any water damage multiplies extremely. I'd be like, huh.
Mm-hmm.
Or if it was like, I don't know if I told this story. There was one time with the previous rabbits that we had. There was an owl that sat outside the window, outside of their pen, and was tapping on the window as if to say like, "Hey, a tweet! I'm here for my drive-through order." So, like, if there was, like, somehow a bird of prey inside of my house, I'd be like, huh.
I don't know. The tap on the window just immediately think, Baba Duke.
Or the shadow of the Babadook would also horrify me. I know they're a queer icon, but in real life, I get jump scared pretty easily.
Yeah. I think, I don't know. It's... Some things do, some things don't. I don't know. It's like I don't know. In video games, I don't get jump scared. Like in horror video games, I don't. It's rare for me to get jump scared. But if I'm playing some like cutesy whatever thing, like that, I get more jump scared in those like kind of like cutesy art style games.
You're not expecting it, yeah.
Yeah.
Because like horror movies and horror video games, I tend to like. My body is like.
The mind builds up the defenses.
Yes. The music starting, the bad thing just happened, cue the stuff.
I think that's why we both enjoy Hereditary so much, because...
It's not soundtrack dependent.
Yeah, it's just full-on creep factor.
It's very atmospheric versus, like, jump scary.
Yeah.
But in any case...
There was something else I really enjoyed about this episode, or this part, was every time Courage needed help from Eustace Muriel's, like she had her like battle cry like song, just like oh.
The audio cues in Courage are pretty great, because I think the thing I like the most about the audio cues, you kind of mentioned it when we were in the first episode, they're really consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Like Cats has his constant like finger snapping kind of.
Yeah, like jazz beatbox.
Mm-hmm. And the same thing here, where anytime any character needs to be summoned, they always play like the same little noise
Mm-hmm.
clip. But no, I like the resolution of this episode a lot, where it humanizes the bad guy. Because
He wins by annoying him.
I know Courage goes through this whole thing where he like swears that all these terrible monsters are in the house, and and he goes through his transformations to try and explain, like, oh, it's like a yeti, oh, it's like an alligator, and they're just like, whatever you say, dog. But I also have to say that Eustace and Muriel would do more than I would, because if I get woken up once, like my adrenaline's pumping, I'm gonna figure out what it is. I get woken up a second time, I'm kind of like, there was nothing wrong the first time. I'll double check it to be safe. Wake me up a third time, I'm rolling over. Like,
that's relatable to this Monday morning, Sunday night.
oh, you didn't tell that story, did you?
No, I told it on another podcast.
Oh, okay. Well, tune into his other podcast, and
Yeah.
you'll get to hear the story.
If we have enough people asking, I'll tell it on this one.
Leave comments, reviews,
Mhm.
shit. Just find a way to reach to him on stream
Smoke
or Twitter.
signals. Not smoke signals.
What's the one with the flags? I know Monty Python makes a joke about it.
I haven't watched a lot of Monty. I haven't seen a lot of Monty Python recently. Anyway, yeah, it's.
How they talk on ships.
Oh yeah. Isn't forget? There's also like another movie where they do it with lights, and it's just like the. Nope, never mind. That's the book I read.
Nice. Books. They always come back into the podcast.
It was the Shackleton thing where they're like, a storm came in between the boats, and the one boat, they were able to see the light of the other one, but then the other boat, they were like, where'd it go? And it just turns out that they were trying to signal back that they were still alive, but the wind kept blowing out the candle, and then the waves got in the way, and they're like, heck with this, we'll just see them tomorrow morning.
If they make it, they make it.
Yep.
But yeah, and then I like that the Shadow managed to know all the things that would piss off everybody in the household. Mm-hmm. Like, Eustace strangling Courage is what got Muriel to actually get really involved. And then what did Eustace see again?
What was it? It was something like Courage was like insulting
mocking him, or yeah. That's that common theme.
Dude, I like the line where it's just like, the first time, like when Courage goes and sees the Shadow like down in the living room, and he's like, oh, and he like tells them, like, and they come down with the bat and the rolling pin, and there's like, there's nothing here, and he's like, okay, if you do this again, you're in the attic, and obviously it happens again. So they put Courage in the attic to where he busts through the door, and then like they get up there and Eustace like, did you do this to the door, dog? And then later, like, Eustace runs to the door. He's like, look what you did, you stupid dog.
I can say that, unfortunately, I have become more like Eustace getting older, where I'm like, what's happening? Wait a second. I have a responsibility I have to repair after this.
Yeah. I guess there's like, oh, did you finish the thought about humanizing the Shadow?
Oh, no, not yet. Yeah, so then I really like the ending of this, where Courage is building up the courage to deal with whatever this is, and he can't help but, like, freak out seeing the imagery of his beloved Muriel, his savior, constantly tortured in different ways, and he's actively freaking out at each one, and the Shadow's just like, please, I'm out of ideas, I can't do this.
You're stressing me out. You're stressing me out.
as someone who tried to be creative every day on the internet, big same. Brain empty, please stop asking me.
You know what they say, green is not that creative. Have you seen that little bit of hug me, I'm scared?
No, I haven't.
Well, I have
I think I've only seen the one really viral.
I know it was pretty
Yeah.
viral a while ago.
Oh.
It's one of those like almost Lovecraftian kind of thing. Like it starts off as one thing, you're like, okay, what the? I don't know. Maybe ask Strider, and if he's seen it, and then, he should be fine. Anyway.
But yeah, that was my point about humanizing the shadow.
Mm-hmm.
You said you had something you really enjoyed as well.
Yeah, there's two things. One is a very quick thing. Is he said the line? All the things I do for love.
Because you did ask me, you're like, does he say it? And I was like, he does in the second one for sure. Him at the top of the stairs.
Yeah, I also like the top of the stairs. Like Muriel, I'm coming. And then he closes the door and he's like, okay, I'm coming for real now. He's like, oh, and then goes down and starts.
He's so relatable.
Mm-hmm. But the thing that is in this episode, it gets introduced, and it's in the next episode as well, the PC.
I love the PC.
The PC sass.
Mm-hmm. If there was any iteration of AI I could stand for, it would be the sarcastic computer that's introduced in these episodes.
Mm-hmm. You twit. For clarification, that if there's people that have not watched Courage the Cowardly Dog, I was not calling Hop a twit.
Or maybe you were. Who knows? You could. Are you the shadow right now? But for audio listeners, Itisdpayne flipped his camera cover on his webcam.
There's no proof.
The drama.
Is this the end of the podcast? No, we still have another half of an episode to talk about.
The computer is my favorite part, but I also did like when Muriel's like, he's gonna be cold in the attic, and Eustace is like, he'll be fine, and he's like sitting there wrapped in his covers.
Stupid dog making me sleep up here.
It's cold up here. Where's the blanket?
And the blanket barely covers him. Yeah. I also like how he hides in the fridge.
Oh yeah, because they all assume that he's dead from the shadow because they only find his hat.
Yeah. But yeah, and then I agree. Like the way that they like in parentheses defeat the shadow is fun. But
yeah, his admitting, I just wanted to like be around people because the guy I was stuck to like really sucked.
Yeah. It's like I wanted to be a star. I want to go into showbiz. Ain't that? And Kurt's like, ain't that true? He says something along the lines is like, who doesn't?
Mm-hmm. I just wanted everyone to know me.
Yeah. He wanted to be an influencer and sell worse products for 10% less.
TikTok shop. But and then the ultimate ending where Courage is like, well, maybe it'll be hard to become an actor, but what if you became a shadow of an actual star?
And then he becomes stars.
I know, he sprinkles into like multiple. It's really cool.
Yeah. And then a nice heartwarming ending and into I don't know, an episode about therapy?
Taking advantage of other people?
Therapy? No.
Yeah,
no, that is not my view on therapy. Don't quote me on that. It's helped a lot of my friends, and I get told I should do it. And that's as far as I got. Anyway, go ahead. This is your episode.
This is the one that I claimed. So yeah, so episode 2B, the quick summary is that... Oh wait, how does she get... Oh my god, the quote that I'm concerned about is in the Wikipedia. Yeah, now I remember.
I didn't even remember there was a Wikipedia.
Yeah, I just have it up to help me reference some things because I watched this episode a week ago, but I'm fine. Yeah, so Eustace is in the middle of repairing the roof, and Muriel is giving him a hard time and shouts that you're going to upset the neighbors, and you kind of zoom out, and he's like, what neighbors? And then he... while they're arguing, he tries to hammer down on a board, but it's actually not nailed down, so it flies up, hits her in the head, and she ends up with amnesia. And Eustace brings her inside, and he's like, do you know your name? Do you know who I am? Do you know who this dog is? And when he realizes she doesn't remember anything, he proceeds to tell her that she's...
Go ahead. You wanted this.
That she's a, quote, direct quote, slave woman, end quote. And therefore she must do all house chores and never talk back to him and never question any of his authority ever again.
And make a sandwich.
Yeah, and immediately go make him a sandwich. So, that's where I told D-Payne that in last week's episode I said, yeah, this episode's interesting in that they say the quiet part out loud. Because there's a lot of people on the internet that go, oh, I like traditional values. I want a wife who stays at home and, So the Eustace is saying what they're actually saying. But in any case...
If anyone's wondering my opinion, I want the woman to go make more money than me so I can stay home.
You can be the trad wife.
I want to stay home and, I don't know, eat Cheez-Its.
Yes. But then Courage, seeing how concerning this is, immediately goes to the AI computer and starts to Google, like, who can help him with all of this situation. And he ultimately ends up finding someone named Dr. LeQuack, which, very trustworthy kind of name.
It sounds like a Wallace and Gromit villain.
As viewers, we're quickly shown that Dr. LeQuack is a scammer, but Courage tries to believe in him, and Courage kind of realizes he's not there for the best intentions pretty quickly, and it turns into a whole back and forth.
Yes.
I think that's a decent summary.
Mm-hmm. So... I think this episode...
His mustache.
I think this episode is a good argument why Courage should be the next protagonist for the Splinter Cell whenever they want to bring that back.
Oh, yeah, because he hid from LeQuack 4 times in a row.
Mm-hmm.
What's it? One was clinging to the wall above the door.
Yeah. One was being the doormat.
Mm-hmm.
The third one was him in a potted plant.
Mm-hmm. I thought there was a fourth, but
I know the fourth, he pays a giant mouse.
Yeah, that one was good.
Yeah, because the last time he tries to leave the building, it's when LeQuack has nailed up the door.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I didn't realize Courage was going to be predicting an actual modern-day police interaction. What do you want us to do? Help?
Oh. Yeah, because he calls them and...
No, he emails them.
Oh, right, from the computer.
Yeah. And then... Because he tells them a whole bunch of stuff, and then, like, the last line when they finally show, it's like, why'd you take so long? And then they're just like, we've been trying to find you. Another line that cracked me up was LeQuack as he gets up to the house, and he's just like, it's like, hello, sir, as he's talking to Eustace, like, are you the one that called for the specialist on amnesia? And he's like, I didn't call nobody. And then he just pulls out a hammer and whacks him, and he's like, how about now?
And he's just like, ugh, and he stuffs him in the closet.
Yeah, stuffs him in the closet, and then we don't see Eustace for the rest of the episode. Or do we?
No, but it does make it convenient for LeQuack to, his early questions to Muriel also made me laugh, where he's like, do you know your name? Okay. Do you know what your silverware is?
Yep.
You don't? Is it over here? Opens it, there's nothing. Okay, this is gonna be harder than I thought.
Yeah. And then, what was later when he's torturing her, I think that's when he's like tickling the foot. And the last line, he's like, where are the family jewels? And then Courage turns on a fan and blows them into the wall. And I'm like, was that supposed to... What family jewels was he looking for? But there's that, and then yeah, this one, like this Le Quack one, reminds me a little bit of the Cajun Granny Stew, just not as slapstick. Uh,
It is a little bit more concentrated because it's kind of like rather than running around for Muriel across all these different like platforms, it's like um an intruder in the house and Courage trying to figure out how to get him out. Because Courage, like you mentioned for the Splinter Cell joke, is like constantly sneaking out and hiding from him and then catapulting himself back into the house. Sometimes missing the window, sometimes getting the window, but either way, you know.
sometimes making a new window.
He does have a lot of Courage-sized holes across this house, which I'm sure really does annoy Eustace having to repair.
He's always mad. It is interesting that there seems to, at least in these first 2 episodes, is like the first, like episode A is your more horror themed episode, while B is your more kind of Looney Tunes Saturday morning cartoon-esque episode. I don't know if that's gonna continue, but it is interesting. Which I guess it's nice where it still has like, I guess like a horror element, but it's not like constant, because I feel like that's maybe a trap that a lot of like modern day and newer stuff is like, well, all our stuff has to be this because this is what we started off with, and like Courage is just a lot more of like multiple antics of stuff. Just
Yeah, like the consistent part is Courage, Eustace, and Muriel.
yeah.
The rest of the themes and the vibes are kind of like moving around as the writers see fit. But yeah, this one also makes me laugh as far as the resolution goes. This one, like the resolution in 2A was like accidental, and this one is kind of like hubris in a way, because the Quack is just like, give me all the good stuff, and then it blows up the vacuum, knocking both of them out, and then fixing Muriel's memory, because you know that's how you fix amnesia, right? You just hit him harder in the head.
Well, that's what he did. Yeah, because he's just like, okay, you go back to sleep, and then she's like, I'm better now.
And yeah, so like it's like the same kind of ending, just I guess I think I like that Courage, even though he's set up to be the main character and like the overall hero, doesn't resolve a lot of the issues. He just sticks it out, and eventually they resolve. Yeah.
He's a luck build.
Yeah, if you're persistent enough, anything can get done. And then like what you said, like, oh yeah, we never see Eustace again, and Courage goes,
and
shut the door
then
on
Courage makes sure that we never see Eustace again, but he'll be back.
He's
just
like
Le Quack.
You want to explain that one?
No.
Okay.
This is your episode.
So yes, as Itisdpayne referred to, the cops that he very much liked to help us prove very much that they weren't very good at helping, because not very far down the street you see the overturned vehicle for the cops and Le Quack having stolen a cop uniform just walking down the road, you know, because he totally looks like one of the 3 cops that totally came to the house. You could easily confuse his identity with any of the other ones.
It would work on me.
But yeah, because yeah, in the beginning, like Le Quack was like the filthy rich kind of like scammer that you think about at like, it is a cartoon, but cartoonish levels, because he's sitting at his computer accepting the amnesia job, and it's like gold bars, jewelry stacked from like floor to ceiling, and he's just on his computer going, yes, another job.
Yep. There's a boat in that like
I thought there was a boat.
Yeah, there's like a boat, like a safe. There's like random trash in there.
So if Le Quack came to your apartment, what do you think your most valuable? What are your family jewels in your apartment?
Probably be the PC. I think that's probably what he would take. I think it's like, how much do I want to share of valuable things I have on the internet? Yeah, that'd probably be the the first thing he would take. I hope he doesn't take air conditioner. That's quite valuable to me right now.
More for your health's sake or monetarily? Or both?
Both.
Yeah, I think if LeQuack ended up in my house, so I have like something from work. I'm not going to include that one because that seems unfair. PCs probably.
Mm-hmm.
Consoles.
Trader.
Yeah, just him. He goes
Just
into
take
a bag.
Trader. It's like, no, my Elden Ring's walkthrough.
I feel like my book collection is probably if you were to collect all of it, maybe if you put in the effort, you could resell it because of how many books I own. But I don't think that's really what he's looking for. Because, like, if he just has a bunch of books in his place, they're not going to amount to much. So, yeah, it'd probably be the PCs or consoles, like the PlayStation, you know.
Yeah, like...
I don't think I have... if it's not obvious to video viewers, I just don't really like jewelry. So I don't think I have anything that's been quote unquote passed down to me that would be high value. A ring.
Yeah, I think
Is
this
it
is
the
like...
ring?
No. That's... that ring is somewhere else. No, this is...
Oh, do you have a Lord of the Rings ring?
Yeah. It came with the Lord of the Rings set, but it's not like an official thing, like that walk challenge thing I was doing.
He might steal your walking challenge medals.
Well, I hope he finds a place to put them. No, I think this is like my grandmother's or great grandmother's wedding ring. And my dad like gave me and my other brother like one of these, and he's like, yeah, I was just sitting in the house. I don't know, if you want, you could sell it. I'm like, oh, okay.
All right. Well, then, when the Quack shows up, you could be like, take it. I don't know what it's worth, but that's the family jewel. Also, the idea of him, like, arriving to Eustace and Muriel's house and him going, there must be riches here.
Yeah.
The house is, like, barely together in the middle of nowhere.
Well, have you ever watched Sleeping Lions?
No.
We should have a series of just like, just I don't know how to what would it be classified as? I'm gonna look it up real quick because it's like one of those like it's an adventure kind of story, but it's also just like, from what I remember, like just a real fun movie.
Are there riches in a house that doesn't look like it's full of riches?
That's like the main plot point where, let's see, I think, oh no, movie, please.
What was it called again?
Hold on, I'm making sure. Oh, Secondhand Lions. Secondhand Lions. A 14-year-old Walter Caldwell's irresponsible mother, May, sends him to live with his bachelor uncles, Hub and Garth, so that... Okay, that's not a good description. So, like, but, like, she tells him, like, that these two guys apparently have riches hidden in the house, and, like, you need to go find them. And, yeah, so it's Haley Joel Osment, Michael Caine, and Robert Duvall. And so it is, trying to see what they would classify it as. Comedy, drama, family. I could see that. But yeah, they talk about, like, it's pretty much, the name Secondhand Lions makes sense, like, as you watch the movie, which is a plot point that I won't ruin, but, it's definitely like these two guys that were like, I don't remember if they're from World War I or World War II. I can't remember, but they're like kind of veterans over there, and they're like just living in this farm, and now have to take care of this kid that this person dropped off, and it's just them learning like what it means, like relearning what it means to live life, and then like the this kid like actually having like gaining real father figures and stuff, and like both of them learning what it means to be a family. So it's a really cute movie, but it's also, from what I can remember, done really well, and the way they kind of share the past and the present and mix it all together. So that would be a fun if we could find a theme for something like that. I don't know what it would be. More like this.
Would it be movies from your childhood? So we each share a movie.
I guess
Each of
it would
us
be a movie.
have watched that the other may have not watched.
That might be fun. That might be. Oh, that's. Welcome to how we plan everything, guys. That'd be a fun like start of the year thing.
Not 25, A24 movies for
Yeah.
2025.
I don't know. We each find like 3 or something, 2 or 3. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But
that's clearly a hint that we have everything else for 2024 planned.
we've already said we had everything for 20.
I like to remind people that we are very prepared people. Yes, that's why.
We both are DMs. we actually, that's not a good example. Those dudes, most DMs don't plan things out. We just hope that the players schedule.
We're the people that get stuck scheduling.
Yeah. And then when you have 2 people that are stuck scheduling,
I make Itisdpayne do it. Just
it's not the first time people do that.
I say that, but like I keep a Google Calendar active for us.
It's a both. It's like a both yes and thing where it's just like I normally am able to keep the dates or like the ballpark dates in my head, and then it becomes official when Hop writes it down. And then we're like, okay, we'll figure it out.
Yeah. But in any case,
I think
this 2B is also a fun episode in that it does feel like a more sophisticated version of the Cajun Granny Stew.
Mm-hmm.
And this one has a recurring character. I forget how often he comes back, but I was like, oh, is this really the first time we see Quacks? I remember him from a different episode.
Yeah.
So we've already met 2 reoccurring villains, which is fun.
Yeah, I don't know if they come back in season 1, but I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to see. And but yeah, 2B is weaker, but I just wanted to
wanted to talk about the slave woman.
I wanted to confirm that was a line that I was like, oh, sorry, jump scare. And it was kind of referenced in the first episode where the rich guy was like, I could buy people, so I can buy the moon.
Yeah, I knew there was a line that did not resonate with Hop, and I'm like, is it this one? Is it this one?
It's this one.
So, I'm bringing up the Courage the Cowardly Dog wiki.
To see what episodes are next.
Yeah. Is there like an actual wiki, or is it just a Wikipedia?
There is a fandom wiki, and then there's also this one that has the quick list. And then this one, if I go back. Oh, wait. How do I get back to the homepage? Okay, this one's the overall wiki in the way that, like, the Gravity Falls one is. But for quick reference of the episodes, you can use that first one.
Yeah. I have it here. So, next episode... I should ask, is there anything else you wanted to share about this?
This is fun. Courage the Cowardly Dog
This whole series is fun.
Yeah, I mean, Courage the Cowardly Dog is one of my favorite childhood shows.
I'm realizing... oh, go ahead.
And I also like that the humor did not age that poorly as far as I can tell.
Yeah, it's still a fun show. Like, yeah, I don't think
Eustace is a bad guy in terms of, like, Courage's perspective of him. So he did say bad guy things.
Mm-hmm. And it's so far, it's like, it's still something I'm like, well, my niece is probably a little bit older. I would like to watch this with her.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you're just doing your diligent duties.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. there's this TikTok series that I've been. It's like a series of videos where this uncle is trying to win the love of his niece back, and I was like, pretty much, he would just show up, and then she would just start bawling her eyes out, crying. I will say I don't know everything that they're saying because it is a Japanese like content creator, and I think he's some sort of like celebrity or has some sort of thing because that he does, but it's just like he'll come up and it'll be like he'll try to ask her a question, like he'll have a microphone, and then she's just like starts freaking out crying, and I started like scrolling through the comments, I'm like, why does his niece hate him so much? And it's like her first interaction with them, or at least one of the first interactions we saw, was him stealing one of her candies.
Oh, so eating. It's permanently.
Yeah, so that was like the thing, and so I'm like, okay, and so he's paying for it now because even though you can't tell, I can't understand what they're saying. They do have subtitles, but they're like in a weird location on TikTok. There's like one episode that like the first one where she's like, okay, I'll tolerate you. Because he's like, I'll go into the store and buy anything you want for you. And the kid's like only 4 years old.
So this won't be a permanent memory. Maybe.
Yeah. But he's just like, I want the good memories of my niece. I don't want her to hate me. And so like they go in, they buy the stuff, and his sister's like, hey, and like it's just like, okay, and just like everything okay, and she's like freaks out crying away. And then the last one that finally allowed her to, in her mind, to be like, okay, I'll allow this man to give me a hug, was they went into the peanut store and bought a bunch of Snoopy crap.
No.
Oh, is that how we're gonna? Oh, there's a list. I thought this was a quiz.
Oh, I didn't look for any quizzes, but we did take up the whole time, so I'm not worried.
But yeah, so next week is Courage Meets Bigfoot and Hothead. Which I think I know what Hothead. Can you? Never mind. I'm not going to ask that question while I'm recording. But yeah, it's so those are next week's episodes, and yeah, that's all we got.
If you want to hear Itisdpayne's story about his weekend, let us know, and we'll see if he remembers it next week when we record.
We don't record next week, though.
Oh, if he remembers in 2 weeks.
By the time this episode comes out, we still won't know.
That is a funny thing to do. Anyway.
Maybe I'll just share it anyway next week.
2 weeks.
For them next week.
Oh, yes, next week for them. But in any case...
Time is fun.
Yeah. Thanks so much for listening in, hanging out with us for so long. If you like this episode, please leave good reviews, comment in places, follow on YouTube.
Find our Patreon.
Set it to auto-download on Spotify.
And set it and forget it.
Share it with people. My brain's trying its best.
I know. Yeah, I'm like, I looked over and I'm like, you look like you're in pain right now, trying to think.
I'm trying to get the 2 brain cells to like, like the DVD screen. I'm trying to get the 2 brain cells to like hit each other like the DVD screen.
Trying to get the electrons to fire off. Like, come on. So do all those things. Share with friends, family, enemies.
Frenemies.
Is there a term for enemy lovers?
Enemies to lovers is a common trope in books.
I didn't know if there was
fiction.
Yeah, like Goku and Vegeta.
Like the presidential candidates. I don't know if you've heard about that.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, people are writing fan fictions about them because the one called the other to check in on him, so people have been writing out that conversation to make it romantic.
I know somebody took it and they're like, here's a revealed thing, and everyone's like, no, this is like the Saturday Night Live skit they just did with Trump. They put it with a video of Kennedy talking on the phone.
Okay.
Yep. So anyway, with that, I guess you guys also know how soon we've been recording. What day it is. Any poops. That is it. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.